Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. I'm back with another SPL Black-White game. Again, Generation 5 is my favorite generation, and it's one of the tiers in the Smogon Premier League, or SPL, which is the most prestigious OU and singles tournament out there on Smogon in particular. And I'm going to bring every single Black-White game I can besides my own. I am one of the players in the player pool, so of the 10 players in the pool, I'll be capturing 8 of them each week. I won't be giving my game versus my opponent, but 4 or 5, pretty good ratio I'd say. And here is game 2. For week 2. It's rain in twos, and speaking of rain, both players are going to be bringing it for this game. Dice is going to be bringing an interesting offensive approach to rain. Seldom do we see rain teams without Ferrothorn, which has grown to be staple rain, be it due to hazards or its very practical resistances, be it being able to check psychic types or dragon types or a lot of other things as well. You know, being a nice electric resist, for example, goes such a long way. It's interesting, he actually has some decent ways to compensate for it. Things like Scizor, which is almost definitely going to be Scarf, knowing Dice and his tendency. Or Garchomp, which can, run Yachi Berry for things like Thunderous Tea, or Lumberry for things like Wash, or Sash for things like Latios. It goes such a long way. All in all, looking at this team, I've got some ideas about the sets. Let's go ahead and get into that right now. First off, I think it's going to be Scarf Scizor no matter what. Dice loves Scarf Scizor. It's a really good measure at checking the really strong, kind of polarizing psychic types like Latios, Alakazam, even Reuniclus to an extent. Not to mention, getting to jump on things like Celebi is a big deal when you have Thunderous Tea and Keldeo in your team, which both struggle against Celebi. As for the remaining members, it has to be Stealth Rock on Garchomp, which leads me to believe it's probably going to be Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, Outrage, Earthquake. It's just a matter of what item it's going to be. It is more likely than not going to be Yachi Berry, in my opinion, because he's pretty weak to opposing Thunderous Tea. And it's also nice for things like, say, in Power Ice and Keldeo, or HP Ice on Landorus T, Ice Fang Glisk, or Ice Beam Politoed, and so on and so forth. Another, big thing that it could potentially get us, like a jump on Nasplat, plus hidden Power Ice Celebi, All these ice moves that are common, specifically hidden Power Ice, Black-White, makes it so that not only is Thunderous T being checked by Yachi Garchomp, but also just in general, you put yourself in a much, more durable position. However, there are other options, Lumberry, Sash, Dragon Gem, Water Gem if you want to do some Aqua Tail stuff, Life Orb if you go mixed, which would make sense if he's like especially defensive Swords Dances or in Scarf Keldeo composition. I don't think he's going to run a especially defensive Scizor on Rain for the second straight week though, and looking at his team against Psychic types, I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't Scarf Scizor, but we'll have to wait and see. That pretty much dictates the rest of the team though. You're more likely to not just run Scarf Scizor as your speed control. You could run Double Scarf with Politoed, but it doesn't really change much. I think it's probably going to be defensive Politoed. On this team in particular, I'm thinking it's going to be Ice Beam, because Scarf Scizor doesn't do very well against things like Dragon Dance, Dragonite. It also enables, Salamence a little bit. Even Swords Dance Garchomp can't really revenge, so I think having that other way of pressuring those Pokemon is pretty big. Also, that ties into my prediction about the Keldeo set. I'm thinking it's probably not going to be Choice, so it doesn't let things set up. Because I think locking the Sacred Sword can be really bad in the wrong matchup, like against Smurf, for example. This is a rain team that really wouldn't fare as well against those type of teams. I think it's probably going to be like Mystical Water, or maybe Sub Calm Mind, or I guess Subtoxic's within the realm of possibilities. It's just that Dice has talked about before, but he's talked about it publicly, so I don't know if he'd bring it in SPL necessarily. And finally, Thunderous Tea. See, there are a couple of ways to do this. I'm fairly certain it's going to be Focus Blast on this team, just because you want to have more ways to pressure Ferrothorn on this team, since Ferrothorn does pretty well against Scizor. Being Scarf can't really break it. Just Politoed and Tentacle don't really break it, and Garchomp's probably being used more earlier on in the game, so I definitely think it's Focus Blast. It's also going to be Thundered in Bar Ice, of course. As for what else it could be, it's either going to be Protect, Substitute, or Agility. I'm really the only one that uses Protect Thunderous Tea as far as I know. So my guess is Substitute or Agility. I'm not really sure which one it's going to be, though, on this team. My guess would be Sub, because there's a little more combat Agility to make a ton of sense. It would make this team a lot better against Weatherless Hyper Offense. Speaking of Thunderous, marcop P just completely forgot to prepare for it, looking at his team. Latios over Keldeo, or Latios over Dragonite, in my opinion, makes this more complete 6. But the benefits of this team, and I'm very confident that it's going to be Choice Band Dragonite, because this is a team that ABR's used before, is that it's much better against Hyper Offense spammers. The Choice Band Extreme Speed, the Scarf Rocks, Landorus, and the potential for Keldeo to swap up move, have Aqua Jet with Pyalpha Berry and Mist Water. This is the team ABR ran in Classic Playoffs Round 1. And he ran it into an offensive team, a very offensive team, and he won handily. I think he won like 6-0. And this team really does manhandle those things, but Dice isn't one to use Weatherless offense a ton. He has used it a couple times, but really, he's more known for his bulky stands with, more fringe Pokemon like a Powdon or a Scizor such as this. And I'm kind of surprised that Marco P went into this game maybe focused more on offense, or maybe he just didn't understand the match and felt comfortable more so with this type of team. I'm not too sure, but it feels like he's at a massive disadvantage already just due to the fact that Thundurus T pummels him. I mean, there's nothing that switched into Thunder, HP Ice, and Focus Blast. And even if it wasn't the Focus Blast, Ferrothorn is going to get chipped early on in the game with all the water types and potential for Garchomp setting up and, U-turn from Scizor and whatnot. It's not hard to do that. So I feel as if Dice has a mammoth matchup advantage, in particular if it's agility and Rock Skid Up. Beyond that, though, I do like Dragonite a lot offensively in this matchup, and Extreme Speed is going to be very important for taking out things like Weakened Thundurus T. Getting rocks up with Ferrothorn and being able to pressure Tentacle is also important, but with Politoed plus Tentacle plus Keldeo, and it's going to be Choice Landorus. I already know it's Choice Scarf just from seeing this team being used in the past. It's going to be hard to prevent Tentacle from spinning a couple times. Another thing is, it could potentially be swapped up sets with Scarf Keldeo, Scarf Politoed, a Stealth Rock Landorus T and a non-choice Keldeo still, or even a Scarf Keldeo and a Landorus T, but I don't think that's the case. I feel like this is just the ABR team verbatim. That was my guess anyway. Scarf Politoed would make a ton of sense on this team though. It's not the best revenge killer, truth be told, but with the 8 plus Extreme Speed on Dragonite, it's sufficient, and that frees up Landorus T and Keldeo to run more threatening sets, so it'll be interesting to see ultimately what they came up with here. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game. I definitely favor Dice due to the matchup due to Thundurus T, but Keldeo with the right set could be threatening with Ferrothorn, Hazards. Landorus T is actually hard to switch into. The only Pokemon that is immune to Earthquake gets pummeled by things like Stone Edge or weak to Stealth Rocks and U-turn and get caught in the Vortex, and enables Keldeo on U-turn, which is cool. And very hard switching to Dragonite for Dice, so let's wait and see. Expecting Politoed from both, but we see Keldeo in the... Wow, okay, so we saw Keldeo into Dragonite. So that means that if this is Choice Band Dragonite, you probably just see Outrage turn 1, just do as much damage as you can. We see Garchomp right off the bat. I kind of spoiled that already. So he's probably going to break the Sash here. It's no other reason to go to it. Yeah, so he goes this, he gets Sash broken. Okay. That's the only reason you go Garchomp there. So you don't want to lose for nothing. So they're just going to trade Outrages in. Dice is going to be ahead, get the initiative, but Dice is also going to end up kind of suiciding his Garchomp to get Stealth Rock up for Marco P because of the residual from Iron Barbs. Thundurus T comes in here now. He's going to get a Focus Blast off, presumably into the Ferrothorn. It's going to hit Landorus T for 31%. It probably means he's not max special attacking the Thundurus T, or maybe it's got some HP investment on Landorus. Either way, Scarf Stone Edge or Explosion going to scare out that. We're going to see Politoed on Politoed action here. We see a Scald. Burn, it does 19. That's a lot. Like, look at this Scald. It does 15. I think it might be an offensive. Yeah, no low leftovers from Dice. Okay, so it's offensive Politoed, and oh, it's not Scarf. That's interesting. Right off the bat, it could be like Gem Thief, but it's not Water Gem, so I don't think that's the case. Resto Chesto is an option. Could be like Focus Block with Fighting Gem, but that's a little risky. I don't know if Dice would be that unhinged. Could be like Citrus Berry too, I guess. I'm thinking it's just Resto Chesto though. Could be offensive Resto Chesto. Either way, burning the Ferrothorn's huge there. Thundurus T comes in here now, and honestly, I don't know. This is the issue. You don't switch into... Oh, shit. Is this over? So yeah, it's going to come down to... Well, if Tentacruel lives a Thunder, obviously this dies. If Tentacruel lives a Thunder, Skull doesn't kill, so he needs a crit. If he doesn't get a crit, he burns. It does about 45 to 50 in range, at least at 25. A burn does 6.25 more than leftovers. So that means he's going to need 4 or 5 turns for it to die to switch between things. So you get Protect, you live that. Okay, that's 1 turn. Then, if you bait the Thunder again, you go to Landorus or Ferrothorn. That's 2 turns. Then you probably have to go back to Tentacruel, live it 3 turns, Protect 4 turns. And then you might, at worst, fodder 1 Pokemon if he doesn't get multiple turns right. And then you could win the game if you still have 3 Pokemon alive, I'd say. Yeah. It might not be great, especially because Tentacruel will be so low and there's Keldeo at full health. But then it's at least, like, humanly possible, especially because Earthquake from Landorus T looks amazing then, albeit Ferrothorn's still at full, Scizor's still at full. I almost wonder if on the last one you save the Thundurus T and go to your own Tentacruel and spin. I'm not sure. Just to have an Earthquake immunity, but either way, at this point, you need A, to somehow live Thunder, which you definitely don't always live. It's at best a roll, if not outright kills. And on top of that, you also need to crit or burn. Crit puts you actually in a winning position, I'd say, or at least a decent position. But burn, you still have to dance around a lot. So this just could be a sweep. We're gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna make you guys wait anymore though. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Thunder is gonna kill. Dice is gonna advance to 1-1. Marco Pete is gonna fall to 0-2. He says good game and forfeits, and that's that. So you gotta prepare for Thunderous, guys. There's no excuse for being this weak to such a common threatening rain Pokemon. Agility was definitely worst case scenario, especially when you use Dragonite like that turn 1, but you almost can't use Dragonite like that turn 1. I know it was good offensively, and it did break the Garchomp Sash and would have gotten a kill if not for it being Sash, which you can't really anticipate, but I guess its thought process was it's never going to be Sash, so worst case scenario, he gets a kill, and then also forces it to, you know, Outrage Lock, and then he gets killing that, and he puts still 201. But even then, you're still putting yourself in a position where with Dragonite dead, you're going to lose to Agility. So yeah, I don't know. I guess he just was like, if he's Agility, I lose. I accept that, and that's fair, I guess. But pretty tough. I think you're really going to be a little more prepared for that. Obviously, Marco P is a great player. I don't doubt that he's going to bounce back, but this is definitely a tough start for me. He's kind of cornering himself, so we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Congrats Dice on the win. I'm sure one of many. And Marco P, I'll bounce back for sure. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.